having the strictest, most demanding requirement for their high school graduation. 200 hours of community service, Your Honor. That's more than twice than the requirement of the rest of the state. Now, this same school board has added 100 hours of community service for middle school. This was implemented without discussion of the PTA or the parents. This middle school requirement for Peaks County is 25% more than what's required for high school students across the state. What's next, Your Honor? 6-year-old kids serving in soup kitchens. Understandably, the parents are outraged. Your Honor, volunteering is something people should do because they care about it. It's not something they should be forced to do. Some people say that it has to become a habit for people to volunteer, but the parents of these kids feel like it will become an excessive burden. Your Honor, the United States is the most generous people in the world, and the people of this community are the most generous in the country. Many of these kids are already willing to volunteer with their families, with their religious organizations, and yes, if given the opportunity, you will find plenty of volunteers at a school with all kinds of service projects. Making the service mandatory diminishes the worth and any personal pleasure kids may derive from this service. Kids resent all kinds of things they're required to do. Clean their rooms, eat their broccoli. Do we really want to add volunteering to that list of things they hate? The parents are not just concerned about the kids, Your Honor. They have a stake in this too. 100 hours of community service means that the parents are going to have to drive their kids to these opportunities. Even the oldest middle school child cannot drive. This means parents will have to be putting in hours with their children, or dropping off and picking them up before and after the service. What is a 100-hour requirement for the children can become a 200-hour commitment for the parents.
And I have a question. Don't parents have to drive their kids other places as well? Like for extracurricular activities?
Yes, Your Honor, but most extracurricular activities do occasionally take place at the school, in which case they would only need to pick them up. And this would be adding an unneeded amount of driving, which can also cost them in the form of gas prices, which are spiking very high these days. Your Honor, the commitment here can be overwhelming, especially for a family with two parents who work, for single-parent families, or those who rely on public transportation. Your Honor, we have fair child labor laws in this country for a reason. The Fair Labor Standards Act was passed back in the 1930s. We cannot force children under 16 years of age to work. And that's what this requirement is, Your Honor. It's work.
Well, now, how do you do it? If they're not getting paid.
Yes, but that may be actually part of the problem. They're required to do 100 hours, forced to volunteer, and they have no gain from this other than personal value.
Wasn't that worth a gain? Isn't there gain in personal value?
Small amount when you have to do it.
Do you have children?
Do I? No, Your Honor.
Oh, I do.
I
and
have
there's
one.
a lot of things that I made them do so that they would learn to do them. And I started at a very young age with them.
But, Your Honor, these children also have homework requirements. Sports and other extracurricular activities which demand their time. And leisure time is an important thing. Without downtime, all kinds of health issues can occur. Besides all other issues, Your Honor, it's the issue of a good night's sleep. We all know adults don't get enough sleep, but do you know children don't either? 12-year-olds need as much sleep as 5-year-olds, 10 to 11 hours. Sleep problems are already prevalent at this age and could contribute to everything from low grades to even childhood obesity, which is an extreme problem in this country. Further straining bedtimes for middle school students will not enhance their education, Your Honor. I'm not saying these parents are selfish or mean-spirited. As I've said before, we live in a very generous community in a generous country. There's been an increase in teenage volunteers in the past few years, and I feel these are encouraged by the parents. But high school is a much different time of life than middle school, Your Honor. High schoolers are young adults, and middle schoolers are still children, Your Honor. We should encourage them to be kids for as long as we can. Thank you.
Do you have anything you want to add?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, with the children doing more volunteer work, their imaginations will decrease. They won't be able to have wild imaginations, and they won't be able to build new things that can help the world lately, Your Honor. These things can help these things can help society, and this can help us become more popular in technology and other certain things, Your Honor.
Now, how does it squelch their imagination by volunteering in someplace, in a new place, someplace they've never been?
Because these kids won't be able to have their playful minds, their minds set on things that could help other kids in other generations.
Have you ever volunteered anywhere?
Yes.
Isn't it fun, though? There is some fun in it, isn't there?
Yes, there is. But the volunteering is more for adults, more for our high school kids. These kids still need to have their wild imaginations going on.
Or they need to go play their Xbox.
Your Honor, playing Xbox also, playing video games can also help students, help kids become more, can become more idealistic.
Okay. So you can sit down. So there's 3 years of middle school, and then how many weeks of the year are students actually in school?
About 32 weeks, Your Honor.
About 32 weeks, and so the first week, nothing happens. The last week, your minds are out the door in the summer, so let's call it 30 weeks. So it's 90 weeks to do 100 hours. So that's a little over an hour a week is what we're talking about. Is that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you're saying that's too much burden on the students?
Your Honor, not only does the hours may take some parts away from the week, but Your Honor, it's also the middle schoolers knowing they have 100 hours to do by the end of the year on the last day that they must do. And Your Honor, that's a little scary for me, knowing that I have to do 100 hours of work by the end of a year. And if this was enacted, say, for 8th graders or people who are in the middle of a school year, what would happen to them? Would they have to do it in less time?
Oh, people who transfer in?
Yes.
Well, I think that's a question for them to answer. That's a good question.
Okay.
I think you raise a very valid point with that, and I'm sure the school board has dealt with that or will deal with that, because they have to with subject matter as well.
Yeah.
Now, aren't your textbooks kind of thick?
Yes, Your Honor.
So do the students get those and think, oh my gosh, I have to read this all at once?
Well, occasionally for me, I do.
Do you read it all at once?
No.
You do it a little bit at a time.
Yes.
It's like eating an elephant. You do it one bite at a time. You can't do it all at once, right? Okay. I want to hear what the defendants have to say now. Okay.
Your Honor, since 1975, Peake County School Board has prided itself on requiring more community service hours for high school graduation than any other county in the state of Wisconsin. In 2007, the Peake County School Board decided that it wanted to push the envelope farther and be even more recognized for having youth to give back to their communities. As a result, 100 service hours were added as a requirement for graduation for middle school students. Parents and middle school students were outraged at the new policy, and as it would require parents to find volunteer work for their kids, would cut into homework, extracurricular time, and would seriously deter much needed playtime and relax for the youth. The new policy, according to parents, really serves no purpose, but these are young kids. What can they do for the community? They can do a lot for the community. They can give back to the community. They can cut grass for people. They can take out the trash for people. In response, the Peake County School Board jumped to defend its students, claiming that they would work with them every day and know the amazing things that are capable of doing. They also claim that the new policy would encourage more social.
Wait, the school board works with the children every day?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know any school board that's in the classroom working with those students.
The statement of fact says it does.
It does, okay.
They also claim that the new policy will encourage more social responsibility, better time management skills, and would increase self-confidence and personal abilities. The community service can teach the students accountability for doing the community service, just to volunteer, just to start from 11 to 13 years old, and it builds character, and they will not be afraid to speak in front of a crowd. Our school will excel because of the 100 hours of community service will help to have a better number of graduates than any other schools. They spend 8 to 10 hours on Saturdays and Sundays watching the television and shopping. Why not do just 1
How do you
hour?
know that?
I do. I watch TV a lot.
You watch TV a lot? So you're basing it on one student's experience?
Yes.
You think that's true for all of them?
Yes.
Now, let me ask you a question. You said that the school board decided that they wanted to get better, even more recognized.
Yes.
So it sounds like they're doing this for the school board.
Yes, Your Honor.
So it's the school board doing it, making the students do this so that the school board gets recognized.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
They spend 8 to 10 hours on Saturday and Sunday shopping and watching the television when they can do 1 hour of community service. I am going to quote Mark Wallison, spokesperson for the Peake County School Board. Community service has never hurt anyone, but instead has given them a greater sense of teamwork, community, self-awareness, responsibility, and much more. We are encouraging our youth to get up and take action in a positive way. There is nothing wrong with that. The 100 hours can spread out over their middle school career, and insisted that the policy has been exceptionally successful for our high school students. We will not reduce the amount of hours required for graduation, as it is a great learning opportunity. There are 3 years in middle school and 26,280 hours. If you just do 100 hours of community service, it will be 26,180 hours left over. There should be no reason why you did not do the community service. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, would you like to add anything?
No, Your Honor.
You think this 100 hours of community service is a good thing for everybody?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Have you ever done community service?
Yes, I've
What'd you do?
62 hours of community service.
Over what period of time? Approximately. Don't give me to the date.
Since 3rd grade.
Since 3rd grade?
Yes.
So how many, and what grade are you in?
7.
So that's 4 years to do 166 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can sit. I want to make sure I understand really what you're asking for, because it doesn't sound like you're against community service. And I think just, let's not call it volunteering, because it's not volunteering, they're being voluntold, right? But it is, the issue here is doing community service. It's not, are they being forced to volunteer? Then that's I think one of you said that's not volunteering, but it's not necessarily work. It's just, my kids don't volunteer to help clean the house.
They're
but
told
it's-
to.
What?
They're told to. Your
They're told to, and they think it's work, but it's just life, okay? So the issue is community service. And I don't think you're against community service, is that right?
No, no, Your Honor. I'm not against community service. I think that it is a great opportunity to help the community. But, Your Honor, when it's forced under the circumstances that in order to graduate you need 100 hours of it in middle school, Your Honor, that's going a little too far.
So what is it the school board does and the school system does to help these students find these hours for community service?
They can find, because
other agencies like Red Cross and things like that.
How many students are in the school system, or in the middle school?
That answer is unknown right now.
Over 100?
Yes, Your Honor.
Over 1,000?
That answer is unknown.
So let's say it's 1,000. I think that's probably a pretty good guess, that it's over that. So is the Red Cross going to be able to handle 1,000 students?
No, but it can be other agencies.
Okay. How are the students and their families going to find these agencies?
By looking on the internet.
So is there like a community service office they can go to at each school that you're going to provide somebody?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I object, Your Honor,
You object to,
to the statement that there is indeed a office on community service hours,
on what grounds?
on the grounds that it is not stated in the statement of the facts, nor on any school website, that an office is included to deal with any students' concerns about their rising community service requirements.
You make a good point. That's sustained. Do you, anything else you want to? Okay. Let's hear closing arguments.
The parents of Walter Peak Middle School understand that volunteerism has enormous potency for the young people in our country who are possessed in their desire to play an active role in improving our society and who want to be respected for their contribution. However, quality education and decent jobs remains that the primary concern of young people at the transition from childhood to adulthood. These additional demands for more community service hours and social responsibilities could demoralize our young people and undermine their self-esteem as citizens without providing them with better time management skills, self-confidence, as the Peak County School Board claims.
And your closing argument?
Your Honor, the students who have completed community service have stayed out of trouble at Walter Peaks Middle School. Since there is 100 hours being added to the community service hours, it can spread out over their middle school career. It has done nothing but enhance the students. Since the students have only 3 years of middle school, it equals up to about 35 hours of community service each year. It impacts the students' education by teaching others to help others outside of school. For instance, someone that I know has done over 500 hours in 4 years of community service, and it hasn't bothered her with her study time, school's time, going out with friends and family, or relaxed time. Your Honor, I'm trying to understand why the parents will not want the children to earn community service. If you teach the kids at a young age, then they will have pride in themselves for the rest of their lives. Community service has not interfered with any of their activities. Your Honor, what I'm trying to say is that we keep the community service in Walter Peaks Middle School. Thank you.
I would like to add on to that, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
The community service, the 100 hours of community service, should always be planned so it would not interfere with their homework, sports practice, study time, relax, and more relax.
So does the school provide time management skill teaching?
No, Your Honor, but they can plan out their own schedule.
Could I add to my co-counsel's closing?
Yes, you may.
Your Honor, I just wanted to add on that the parents are just concerned at how the school board is dealing with this and how the time period given may vary occasionally. And how these hours are dealt with by the school, how community service locations could be provided. Your Honor, the parents are just attempting to make sure that their kids have the ability to volunteer and not be forced to work at a young age.
No, I have a question. Are you all asking that we totally do away with the 100 hours completely or reduce the hours? Reduce the hours to what?
To a lower standards where it'd be more convenient for the kids to transfer to different places.
So how many hours do you think is reasonable?
We'd say that we should have it somewhere below the normal average for most counties. So we'd say maybe just 50 would be fine with us.
I object. The 100 hours can be used because there are 3 years in middle school and more than just 300 hours in middle school. You can do 100 hours and you have 200 left over. But what I'm trying to state is I have already said that there is 26,280 hours in 3 years of middle school when you can do just 100 hours and make it 26,180 left over.
I don't have my calculator on me right now, so you threw a lot of numbers at me. So, okay. I'm going to overrule your objection because I didn't understand it. All right. Thank you. I will we'll go on recess, and I'll be back with my judgment.
All rise.
If you like what you see here, guess what? You have the opportunity to join us on School Court TV. Log on to www.schoolcourt.org. Auditions are coming up very soon, and we want you in the courtroom. Welcome back to School Court TV.
All rise. School court is back in session.
You can be seated. Now, I don't think anybody in this room would disagree that community service is good for students of any age. I would even go so far as to say it's good for students to do community service even in elementary school in a limited way. However, the school board's going to require it. They have to provide the means, at least somewhat, for the students to do that. And I didn't hear that you had done that. You're asking for it to be reduced to 50 hours. I don't know if you're putting me in the position of trying to make policy for the school board, but I'm inclined to agree with you because of your arguments were good and well thought out. You did a good job there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rule for the plaintiff, and I'm going to sentence you to community service for 100 hours. Now, that was a joke. I can't do that. But I'm going to rule for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Weren't there some excellent arguments? Now you really understand what it takes to be on School Court TV. If you're interested, log on to our website, www.schoolcourt.org, because we want you in our next set of episodes, our next season. We look forward to having you. Now guess what? These students are moving on to the championship round, so don't go anywhere. In the next couple of weeks, you're going to see more amazing arguments from our great student attorneys. This is School Court TV. We'll see you next time.